Just sitting here. This isn't anything big, but I'm just going to try and film a thing. And I thought I'd do a bit of a rant about something. Try a few little things. Should be fun. Hope everyone's well. Let me see. Hang on. I'll get the chats up. We'll just fuck around. We're just fucking around. But I've also just, I want to do one rant and then try it a few different ways. And yeah, I've got to do a welcome video and stuff. And it's really hard to talk to a camera without there being, even if it's only like a couple of people, right? Having someone there. I haven't quite overcome that yet, but so anyway, we'll just watch, don't watch. Who cares? If you're there, you're there. If you're not, you're not. I'll say hi if you are, but I'm just working on some stuff. Yeah. So this is going to Twitter and Periscope and all that shit. I don't know why I did this. But I've also just got to film myself talking to the camera a lot, which I've got. Obviously, I've got stuff. I've got footage of this, but I need proper stuff and all that. I filmed a thing where it's stupid. Works for. It's always harder when you're trying or you can't be perceived to try, because that's when I switch off and I go, I don't want people to think that I'm trying. Why would you do such a thing? Why would anyone try? Anyway, I get nervous. Like, it's just weird. But I realize that, like, obviously I'll do some open mics and stuff as well. But I just got to get this pre-record thing on my own when there's no one here, because there's no one home. So it's not like I can just sit here and talk to Paul or anything. I'm sitting here on my own talking to a fucking camera. Can't do it. It's really weird, but I can live stream. So if I think there's someone there, even if it's one person, then, it makes it feel like I'm at least fucking talking to somebody. It's a weird mind fuck. I know. But anyway. But I am going to record a longer rant with a lot of different ideas in it that will then be edited into a video that I'm going to do. But yeah, so I don't know if anyone's watching, but if you are, say hi in the chat, because I haven't really chatted to anyone in a while. I don't know if the chats are working. You could put them in and tell me they are, because they seem to be a little unpredictable of late. I don't know what's going on. I've really got to streamline a lot of things. But yeah, anyway. So, welcome. Oh, you guys live? You're welcome. Ooh, welcome to the Yawning Channel. Welcome to the Yawning Channel. Let me a fuck. That's what the video's about today. Fuckwits. Seriously though. That is I've been brewing this for a while, and it's lots of different things. I'm still working on it. But I have this hypothesis. I have a hypothesis. Which is that, everything is super divisive. Super divisive. No matter what your label is, there's someone opposite. It's like partisan or fucking turf versus trans, fucking man, women, race, white, black, white, fucking whatever. Trump supporter, not supporter, mask, anti-mask. Fucking hell, what are we in 15? What are we? Are we in high school where everyone in the class has to take fucking a for or against position and argue it ad nauseum 24/7? Is that where we're at now? Are we actually in high school? Is that where we are? We're all in high school and we've been assigned for or against, and we must produce an essay and stick to that position and defend that position. That reminds me, actually, Year 9 English. This isn't recording stuff. This is just fucking me riffing while I get used to I get relaxed. Year 9 English, where I like taking contrarian viewpoints just to try and understand what. If you're upset and challenged and scared of contrarian arguments, then you're not that confident about your position, okay? It's one thing to take on talking points and have it feel true, but to put it through the ringer and challenge it and consider that there's other perspectives that may also be true or also may be correct, that's something that, people should get better at. But fucking hell, are we in year, I keep feeling like I'm in Year 9 English where we've all just been told you're for that and you're against that and you've got to argue it. And no one gets anywhere. They get an A for fucking A for effort, but nothing happens. It's still fucking year 9 English. It still doesn't mean anything. It's like no one actually gets anywhere. You're definitely producing output and might get a grade, but, you know, are you actually doing anything? So anyway, but yeah, my assignment was funny because year 9 English, and I thought it was funny because I decided I just like to take the opposite view of things. I got in trouble once. But like, you know, I wrote an English essay from the perspective of Hitler to be a troll because I hated my teacher. I thought it was funny. That's what's funny, actually, because Paul did the same thing and he got in trouble too. It was funny. But it was just an intellectual exercise, for fuck's sake, right? So it's like getting into the skin of somebody else is actually really, really interesting to do, like to try and understand, get into the mindset. But I also did I knew that like the popular girls, because vegetarian was like the thing, you know, when we were in high school. That was, you know, now it's just like who gives a shit, you know, it's vegan, but, you know, vegetarians and stuff. But anyway, but I knew that like the popular girls that I fucking hated were like on this vegetarian kick. So I decided to write an essay against vegetarianism. That was funny. I enjoyed that. That was funny. I've never been it. I've always been the same. I've always liked pissing off fucking people that I don't like pissing off the popular crew and the pretty girls and the people who are fucking stupid and haven't actually earned anything in life other than just being born pretty and fucking rich. I've always had a beef with them and I'm quite happy to punch up at the popular girls. It's fun. I don't like all of that, you know, that American pop culture. One of my biggest beefs is very much that whole narrative about like, oh, they're more alike than you think and it's all just their insecurity. And, you know, it's like, yeah, but that's because your whole culture's built on fucking mean girl bullying. You don't want people to question that. You want us to empathize. If you empathize with them, then you can't like actually address the real structural power. And it's like even Mean Girls where it's like, oh, in the end, we're all just teenage girls and hurting. It's like, that's a bullshit narrative. Fuck those bitches. The unearned privilege and power. It's like, gosh, we're so brainwashed into thinking this. Anyway, that's I don't believe that. I'm just riffing. I think people are more alike than you think if you just take the time to listen. But it's just funny. The role that narratives play in everyday life. You know, like Veep. Where I love Veep. I'm a huge Julia Louis-Dreyfus fan. I love Veep. I think it's brilliant. It is hilarious. But at the same time, you know, what role do these TV shows play? What narrative, what message do they give us? They make us empathize with somebody who's actually fucking horrible. They make us empathize with people who are abusing their power. They make us, there's a subtext and a story to these things. And it's like, you know, like, would Kamala Harris or Hillary Clinton be less palatable if there weren't characters like Selena Meyer, where you learn to empathize with those people and see them as human and flawed? And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm saying you shouldn't be blind to what it's trying to tell you. You know, like the call to action and the real takeaway from a lot of these shows is, oh, look, powerful are just like us. They're just bumbling fools. Oh, isn't she funny and cool? Oh, look, woman vice president who swears. Oh, wow. You know, like none of the like how horrible she is, how disgusting politics is, what politics does to people. Like, you know, it's explored, of course, but I just find it it's interesting to take the alternative point of view is what I'm saying. Anyway, that was me just relaxing. Anyway, but with all this divisiveness that we've got going at the moment, it's like, you know, hang on, let me just get my notes because I'll have a few goes because this is going to be edited. Yeah. But like, here's something that I think 2020 has done for us all, which is if there's one way that we can find common ground, because you got right wing and left wing and socialists and capitalists, and even amongst those fucking tribes, there's all, you know, I'm libertarian socialist and I'm this. Most people don't even know what these mean for a start. Learn what the words mean, but still, Let's just go. Yeah. Atheists versus religious, vegans versus meat eaters, woke versus MAGA, Gen Z versus fucking millennials, Karens and boomers and all these unpalatable fucking terms that represent an archetype of a person, right? So I think what we should do is come up with something that's a little more universal. So, because Karen's sexist, boomers ageist, but you know what? I think I have found a word that unites us all. Doesn't matter if you're a feminist. Doesn't matter if you're a men's rights activist. Doesn't matter if you're a boomer. Doesn't matter if you're a fucking Karen. Doesn't matter if you're not a Karen. Doesn't matter, we won't upset the Karens. There's lots of very cool Karens who are quite upset. All right? All these loaded pejoratives. Okay. Here's one. Here's something that every single person can spot. And that is a fuckwit. All walks of life, all classes, all creeds, all thoughts, all of us. It's all within all of us. And everyone, every group, all of society. From the 10% of fuckwit that exists inside us, to the 10% of fuckwits at your school, to the 10% of fuckwits in your country, to the 10% of fuckwits that are worldwide. Now, there's a country that happens to have a higher proportion of more fuckwits. That's a fuckwit factory. That's America. But, the 10% rule. Shopping trolleys. Right to the shopping trolley. What's it called in America? Because they're fuckwits who change the words. Shopping cart. The shopping cart thing. 90% of people can put it back in the right spot. 10% of fuckwits, guess what they do? They put it in upside down, back to front. Fuckwit. Now, what is a fuckwit? It's an Australian word. Now, when you look up the definition, which is what people, words have a literal meaning, and then the thing about Australia is that there's a way to use words that are appropriate at certain times. Now, when you look up the word fuckwit, what you see is that it means really, really stupid. But it's not that, okay? Because there's a perfectly good word for that, and that's retarded. It's not referring, or moron, cretin, idiot, all clinical terms. Marvelous. It's not referring to IQ as such. A fuckwit is someone who is clueless about common sense shit. Largely social stuff, but also, with a heavy fucking layer of stupidity built in as well. For example, people who try to police the word retard are fuckwits. For example. If you read the dictionary, you'd think that they were synonyms, but they're not. Because a fuckwit is someone who doesn't care about other people and doesn't understand that other people exist and that they're so stupid and clueless about the world around them that they feel like that they can just do whatever the fuck they want. That's what a fuckwit is, okay? Now, a fuckwit is also stupid, okay? So, I didn't say this was going to be... I told you. But I just say, it transcends groups. It transcends tribes. Is what I'm trying to say. We can all go, where does Trump fit on the political spectrum? Well, some aspects he's pretty fucking socialist. He's a bit fascist at times, authoritarian, but also not, but also libertarian, but also fucking capitalist. And you go, okay, well, I'm confused. I think we could just go, hey, that guy's a fuckwit. And that's something we can all agree on. I think that's pretty much everyone can agree that Trump's a fuckwit. See what I'm saying? Take ideology out of it. Take whatever. If you're a feminist and you're fucking bullying a trans person, you're a fuckwit. Okay? If you're a trans person and bullying women or bullying gay men this week, which seems to be the thing at the moment, you're a fuckwit. See? Multi-purpose. Transcends ideology. World peace. Fuckwit, the word of peace. Fuckwit is where we can find common ground. The main thing is that this makes me laugh. See, Karen, poor Karen. The Karens of the world, the poor women who've been named Karen, who've now been attached to what is basically a middle-aged female fuckwit. Boomers. Well, okay, no, they're all fuckwits. Boomers. Boomers. Good people. Ageist. Don't be mean to people. Don't generalise. Okay. But how old are boomers? What's the year? No, fucking Gen X is getting old. I think Gen X is approaching 60 now, isn't it? Fucking hell. You know, senior citizens who are fuckwits. See? It works. Then you can make it so that it's not a slur. Fuckwit is universal. World peace via fuckwit. I got some examples of fuckwits, if that helps. We can all spot a fuckwit. If you know, people who fucking, that means they're clueless, right? It means they're lacking in fucking common sense, usually lacking in boundaries. It's not just about intellect, it's about social retardedness as well. I keep using the word and double down. Fuck it. But that's the thing, right? Is that you're allowed to say fuckwit, idiot, moron, cretin. Oh, but don't say retard. Yeah, stop being a fuckwit. You're a fuckwit. Okay? Because you don't understand that there's lots of different ideas out there. It means you're not very intelligent in terms of, like, you know, arguments and also socially. Don't be a fuckwit. Fuckwit's bipartisan. Okay? It's cross-party, cross-floor, cross-sex, cross-race, cross-fucking gender, cross-fucking ideology, cross-ideas, cross-families. You even fight the fuckwit within. Fuckwits would be like, they'd be a serial killer if they were smart enough to figure out how to be a serial killer. Okay? Or a CEO. One of those. Fuckwits would be in corporate HR. HR are fuckwits. LinkedIn, absolutely 100%, 80% full of fuckwits. LinkedIn is the fuckwit social network. I don't know. I'm just riffing now. Making shit up as I go, see if it sticks. Fuckwits are the people who email you and then call you to tell you that they emailed you. That's a fuckwit. They're the people who reply all, like when they don't need to, and then fucking start a death chain of bullshit of people saying stop replying all when they reply all, and then everyone replies all. That's a fuckwit. Fuckwit started that. Fuckwits are people who like have, oh, here we go. Fuckwits are those people who bring their drones to the beach. Yeah, that's a fuckwit. The photos are great. The footage is great. It's wonderful. But on the busiest day of the year, not so fucking good. You're a fuckwit. Fuckwits are people who appoint themselves as the word police and then use the word, but with asterisks in it. Or those people who fucking say the N-word, the N-bomb, the C-bomb, but they use it as if they were using it, but somehow get virtue over the people who actually just use the fucking word. You're a fuckwit. You still use the word. I don't use the N-word because I don't use the other word. I just don't use it because I don't refer to it. Okay? First of all, I don't live in America, so that's not an issue. But I'm just saying, fucking hell, asterisk people are the fucking worst because they're the people who swear, but they don't even have the balls to swear. They want all the credit for the swears without any of the fucking heat. Fuck the asterisk people. Asterisk people are the biggest fuckwits. I understand if you've got to use the asterisk to get around fucking SEO and shit. You've got to do that with Google, right? And all those things because they suppress those things. But in any other setting, what's going to happen? You still used it. Use a different word. Or don't use the word. You know what? Words express thoughts. If you're having the thought, then you shouldn't have it. Okay, there you go. It's not the word. It's the fucking thought behind it, dickhead. Now, fuckwits are people who cut you off in traffic and then fucking wave as if you did them a favour. That's a fuckwit. See? Universal. At no point did we mention any identifying identity characteristics. That was just a fuckwit. It's probably in an Audi. So, you know, fair enough. Or a Honda. That has racial overtones. However, see? They're just a fuckwit. They're not a rich wanker or an Asian driver. They're just a fuckwit. Everyone's a fuckwit. I think it was a great idea to live stream this before editing it, don't you? Fucking hell. Huh? Oh, my word. Okay. It's like, you know who else are fuckwits? People who fucking walk. If there's more than two of you in a fucking shop or like anywhere public and they walk fucking abreast of each other and hold up the whole way, walking fucking half the speed of everyone else while they have a conversation. That's a group of fuckwits. Again, that could be attributed to certain racial groups, but it's not. They're just fuckwits. You know, again, the racist impulse goes away and it's more of a fucking, you know, oh, we're just enjoying the fucking conversation and space. See how it the word fuckwit strips you of your identity and any ability. That said, I mean, fuckwit basically means autistic, so I'm kidding. Because we all know how no, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make that joke. I'll refine those jokes. A fuckwit is a person who tells 360 million people who live in a fuckwit factory to inject bleach. That's a fuckwit. His politics don't matter. His money doesn't matter. His orange fucking self-tan doesn't matter. His mushroom dick doesn't matter. He's a fuckwit. Who was leading a fuckwit factory. People who bump into you and then make you apologise. They're fuckwits. Celebrities who tweet about social justice, inequality, poverty, fucking politics in front of their fucking 70 million foot pool. That didn't work. Celebrities in front of their vast gardens and giant swimming pool. Ellen, fucking hell. You're a fuckwit. That's a fuckwit. Nothing to do with being a lesbian. Everything to do with being a fuckwit. Nothing to do with being a celebrity per se. See, again, when you use the word fuckwit, you're talking about the behaviour, not the person. And their characteristics. This is my argument. My argument is that fuckwit is universal. Everyone knows how to spot a fuckwit. And it's universal and neutralising. And you can call someone a fuckwit regardless of who they are. Because we all know. And I've looked this up. It is statistics. That 10% of people are fuckwits in everywhere, in every group. And no group is immune from being a fuckwit. In fact, large portions of people, some, you know, all of us have a mix of fuckwit, some more than others, but we all have a bit of fuckwit in us. We're all fighting our inner fuckwit. Rich people who try to be relatable to poor people. and talk about the working class. Nah! You're a fuckwit! Men who send unsolicited dick pics. Fuckwits. Reply guys. Fuckwits. People who chew loudly, especially on a fucking train, and especially when it's slurping fucking noodles or something crunchy or like broccoli or some shit. Why? You're a fuckwit. Again, that can go from having hot chips to fucking noodles. Doesn't matter. Just, you're a fuckwit who's eating on the train. Fuckwit. People who speak about themselves in the third person. There's one. That's a fuckwit. Again, they don't have narcissistic personality disorder, and they're not a, Ned Flanders. They're not a Christian. They're not, anything. They're just a fuckwit. It's easy. It's a nice broad category of idiots, right? Fucking people who say no offense. No offense, but yeah, you're a fuckwit. Just own your words. Like I said before, own your words. Own your shit. Say what you mean. Be honest. Okay? Don't say, pepper it with fucking asterisks or fucking N-word. If you don't like the word, don't say the word. If you're going to insult someone, insult them. Don't say no offense, but. I'm not racist, but. Yeah, you are. But that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Take the fucking charge away. Take the sting out. Just say, oh, sorry, I'm being a bit of a fuckwit. Here's a thought. Own your shit. Own your thoughts. It's okay. And the people who have a problem with people thinking and talking, they're fuckwits. Okay? People who fucking act a certain way on Twitter, conduct themselves in a certain fashion, and then act surprised when they're banned. That's a fuckwit. You're not a victim. You're a fuckwit. It doesn't matter. You behave a certain way, you get banned. You know the rules. Try to subvert the rules, that's a fucking gamble. Don't gamble. Play stupid games, win stupid fucking prizes. Don't act surprised that you get banned. Again, not as simple, but generally speaking, I can see why people get banned. Don't do stuff. Don't be a fuckwit. In fact, I think that that's better than any policy that anyone could write for trust and safety, which is don't be a fuckwit. It's pretty easy to follow because most people, not only can everybody universally recognise a fuckwit, we also deep down know when we're being a fuckwit. So it's a level of self-accountability as well. We know when we're being fuckwits. And we know when other people are being fuckwits. I have a feeling that this video might get kicked off YouTube. A lot of fuckwits in this. YouTube are fuckwits. Welcome to my channel. Oh, I've got to do that too. I've got to film a welcome to my channel, but I thought I'd leave it last. I started ranting and just... Oh my God. People who correct grammar. Here we go. Here's one. People who correct grammar to try and look smart, but they're not. They're fuckwits. Don't do that. Okay? Unless you're an English teacher and you're holding a red pen, you're a fuckwit. And even then, if you're enjoying that red pen, like some fucking people I know who mark my shit, I think that she's holding a fucking dildo-shaped red pen that she uses later. She gets off. You know those people that get off on a red pen? Those people. Fuckwit. I don't know. I don't know what came out of my mouth, but just then, my brain's being a fuckwit. But when you factor in like that 99% of laws, when you think about it, just sit and think about all of the laws and regulations and everything that exists in this world. It's for the fuckwits. It's for the fuckwits. 99% of laws, I reckon we could do pretty well with roughly based around the 10 Commandments. And even then, half that. Okay. I don't give a fuck about false idols or like coveting wife and shit. Okay. I think just don't kill anyone, don't steal from anyone, don't be a fuckwit. that could replace 99% of laws. But what happens is that we've built an entire system of bureaucracy and fucking jobs and middle management, which is interesting. The irony, the great irony of bureaucracy is that we create a society with 99% of laws to deal with fuckwits. And the people who are meant to administer those laws and enforce those laws are the biggest fuckwits in the world. Isn't that weird? Middle managers, they're fuckwits. That's funny. It's a little twisted irony. But if we replaced everything with don't be a fuckwit, I think things would be a lot easier and a lot simple. When you say law is blind, the law of don't be a fuckwit is blind. It's colourblind. I don't know what I'm talking about. Fucking people with bikes at peak hour on the train. Those people, they're fuckwits. Who else? Who else is a fuckwit? Lots of people are fuckwits. But also we've got to work on our inner fuckwit. Hang on. But that's what happens, right? 99% of laws, I'm just thinking for a sec. 99% of laws are to deal with fuckwits. The 1% of laws that exist, pretty common sense. Okay. But the rest of the laws are laws and regulations that are basically don't be a fuckwit. You know, like we saw that with the COVID app, right? With WA, where they went, we're going to pass this law to do this app. We promise we won't spy on you. We promise. It's private. It's just between you and us. We're cool. We promise. They pass a law. And then everyone goes, cool, we trust you. Police then use the data to fucking commit a crime. Government goes, that's not what we meant, fuckwit. That's how everything goes down at all times. Which is that everyone passes a law with a pretty shared understanding of what happens. And then we've got to clarify things because people are being fuckwits. Equal Opportunity Act in Australia. Gender identity. In the 80s, we knew what it meant. We knew what it meant. Sex and gender identity, it was clear. Now we need to pass laws that say, that's not what need to pass laws that say, that's not what I can't fucking do this. Here. Now we need to pass laws that say, that's not what we meant, fuckwit. Clarify. Let us clarify for the fuckwits in the room. And let's appoint 100 fuckwits to make sure that no one's a fuckwit. But fuckwits ruin everything fun. Words, events, technology, websites, social media, cars, roads, shopping centres, pandemics. Fuckwits ruin everything. There's 10% of fuckwits. That's it. It's a rule. Fact. It's up there with Darwin's evolution theory of evolution. I will write, my book is not going to be called The Origin of Species. It'll be called The Origin of Fuckwits. Now, of course, like I mentioned before, some places are bigger fuckwit factories than others. Twitter, the comment section, ideologies, politics, America. Some have a greater proportion of fuckwits than others. Okay? But everyone's got fuckwits. We just got to deal with our fuckwits and move on. And just accept that everyone's a fuckwit. Every group has its portion of fuckwits. And let's just put it down to being a fuckwit. It's got nothing to do with their group or their ideology or anything like that. Those fuckheads on TikTok that are crazy, they're mentally ill and they're not getting help, okay? They're being fuckwits. Doesn't reflect on kids. It doesn't reflect on gender identity stuff. It doesn't reflect on fucking TikTok. It doesn't reflect on anything other than the fact that that person is an intersection of many, many, many levels of fuckwit. Okay. That's what we need to get to, is that it's universal, and that we just need to accept that everyone's a fuckwit. Like with Australia. Everyone's like, oh, Australia's fucking falling into fascism. No, it's 10% of fuckwits out in the street. 10% of fuckwits on Sky News fucking, using these people as a means of, enforcing their own being of a fuckwit. That didn't work. In order to, they're being fuckwits by, emphasizing the fuckwittery of everyone else. The whole mainstream media, journalism. They're in the fuckwit business. They focus on the fuckwits. They write about the fuckwits, and then they go, why are there so many fuckwits? Whilst being a fuckwit. See? It's universal. Then you get away with not making massive generalizations about any one group, because you go, that's a fuckwit. It's good, isn't it? It's a good system. The fuckwit system. Origin of fuckwits. It's profound. It's profound. But, certain professions, certain ideologies, certain things have a higher portion of fuckwits. Everyone on the road that's not in my car is a fuckwit. That's just the road. It's the same thing with the internet. The internet has a very high proportion of fuckwits on it. Okay. But it's also where fuckwits are most likely to have a voice. Because in polite society, if you're a fuckwit, people go, hey, you're a fuckwit. Get out, please. See? No discrimination. Unless you think fuckwits are oppressed as well. It is. I think it's really interesting because it's an interesting idea. It's a way to name the behaviour without necessarily focusing or demonising on any one group of people. Okay. Except for the people who use asterisks for swear words and still use the words. It's like, how dumb are you? Can't you think of another word? Oh, those people that swear are just not very creative. They're not creative like me. I just replaced the U with an asterisk. No one will know. No one will be any the wiser. People will be none the wiser. What a distortion of fucking logic the asterisk people are. Such a fucking distortion of logic. It's like, oh no, I don't find swearing very creative, and it means that you've got a bad vocabulary, and it's also impolite. You're not as creative as me. I'm going to put an asterisk in it. Use a different word then. Fuckwit. Oh, God. Anyway. I was hoping that there'd be more people chatting, but I don't know if it's not coming through or what. I think people are just quiet. I think I've made it so that people are too afraid to chat, which is funny. Also, I got a mug. This one is a sample one. The logo's too big. But don't be a fuckwit. Babies. Fuckwits. That's why babies can be 10% of babies are fuckwits. Everyone's, again, there's times when I'm a fuckwit. I would argue that I'm being a fuckwit right now by live streaming something where I'm probably going to get in a lot of trouble. But I like talking to people. I like talking knowing there's someone out there watching, and I can at least see that there's someone watching, and it means that I can at least be talking to somebody. It's weird talking to a camera. Oh, man. Anyway, that was a bit about fuckwits. I'm trying to think of any other things that make people fuckwits. Anything I need to do over again? I should be okay. I think I did okay. Considering. But it is funny. It is just funny how much time and energy and it's the perfect answer. It's a catch-all. It's a way to get away from everything. Like you don't use any more slurs. You just call someone a fuckwit. Or if you're an asterisk person, F asterisk CKWIT. But you're still using it. Wouldn't want to not be creative with my language or anything. Oh, Diane, you're in hospital. What are you in hospital for? I'm sorry about that. I didn't know. Thanks, Leeka. I'm just having a bit of this was just something where I was going to pre-record. I'm doing branding shit and doing a pre-record and stuff like that. But then I kept fumbling my words because there's no one there and I sound crazy. But if I sound crazy anyway, but putting out the live stream, at least I can see there's someone there, and it takes that sort of. I kept fucking up and hitting stop and record and stop and record. I was like, fuck it, just live stream the fucking thing. But anyway, yeah, this is I was hoping to just film something that I think might be a type 5. But your gallbladder. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, I've had that out, and also I don't know what caused my pancreatitis last year was that I'd had my gallbladder out in 2005. No, God, 2002, I think it was. And I didn't know that stones can grow back. Apparently they can grow back even if you don't have a gallbladder. And the because we went to the private emergency room rather than the public one, because the public one, they went, I was yellow. I had pancreatitis. I was fucking sick as. And because I'd lost a whole bunch of weight, I didn't know that stones could grow back, and it wasn't on the list. So I was in the ED with that worst pain that you probably have at the moment. And but yeah, no, don't let them always the stones can grow back is what I'm trying to say. That's a common thing what not many people know is that you can still develop stones in your bile duct, even if your gallbladder's gone. And that's what nearly killed me a couple of years ago was that. So anyway, but yeah, I hope you feel better soon. And even I'm not trying to scare you. I'm saying that in some cases it can actually. It's a thing that, yeah. Gosh. Oh, sorry. No, I don't want to scare you. I'm saying in rare cases, I think it's just worth knowing. I thought that, because you know how they tell you that, so Diane said, holy crap, I really didn't want to hear that. The morphine isn't touching the sides of the, oh shit, sorry. No. Don't worry. I also just happen to get everything, every rare complication that ever exists that's not death. I seem to just get the one that's close to death. I'm just unlucky like that. But it's rare, but it's also something that they tell you, oh, well, take the gallbladder out and everything will be fine. It wasn't until what? So I said, 2002, I think I had my gallbladder out, and it was 20 years later. I can't do math, 17 years later. So it was just, and it was also because I'd lost 50 kilos. It's a rare instance. Don't panic. It's really good. Having my gallbladder out was such a relief. You're going to be fine. You'll be fine. I hope you're feeling better. Yeah, that pain is a bitch. I don't know if you've had, that's the worst pain. Gallbladder and pancreatic pain. Oh my God. It's the worst. Yeah. They tell you anything, and I rarely go wrong, but when I do, it's always spectacular. Yeah, well, I hope you're okay. Message me. I want to know. Now I want to know you're okay. But I'm sure you'll be fine. It's fairly routine. I do that thing. I've become that fucking woman. See? Here we go. I'm being a fuckwit. Which is, when I'm now that woman who's had kids, I've gone through all that, and I had rough births and C-section, all that stuff, and you see this poor young thing who's just pregnant, and you go, unload all of it's going to be fucking horrible, and it's like, no, don't be a fuckwit. That's another thing. Don't be unsolicited stories about surgical complications for people who are just about to go into surgeries. Fuckwit. See? Don't be a fuckwit, Taya. That was a fuckwit move. It's universal. See? Could have called me a Karen. You could have called me anything, but you just go, nah, just a fuckwit. Oh, I'm really glad that you can actually, gosh, I've got some stories about when I was in hospital, when I spent, gosh, I've got so many medical stories. But when I had very serious surgical complications this was my big one in 2006, I think it was. And I was in hospital for like a month. And my lung had collapsed because I'd been in an induced coma, and of course it did. My lung fucking collapsed on the ventilator. So I then had 4 weeks of fucking liquid, liquid in my lungs. I had to have the physio come in and beat me up every day on the back of the chest and, get the fluid moving out of my lungs, and I had to keep coughing, all that sort of stuff, right? But I remember it was funny because I was in hospital, and the only thing I remember from that whole time, like it was like 4 weeks, I have a very vague memory of it. I have a few, mostly funny things, but one of the main memories I have is that they had the TV on, and Friends was on, of all things, and they just had it was like Foxtel, they had like Friends marathon on, and that episode where Joey puts on all of his clothes, or is it all of Chandler's clothes, and starts doing lunges. And I just I just was laughing so hard, but the liquid, and I was gasping and it was so funny because I was coughing so loud and gasping and laughing so loud, but I was in so much pain that the nurse just came in and stuck her head in and went, "Keep it down," and just fucking closed my door. And I just roared. I couldn't, because I was obviously on so much pain, so many painkillers. Everything's funny when you're on morphine and shit anyway. Morphine dreams, oh my God. Fentanyl's the best. Morphine's horrible, but morphine dreams. But I just remember it was just so. It's just dark. That's probably what I'm gonna. Because I was saying how I wanted to do a comedy podcast, but I don't know. I was gonna say comedy's gonna save the world, but I actually want to do something where I talk about comedians and like the healing. How comedy heals, and how and I want to call it laughter in the dark, or laughing in the dark, or something to do with how laughter gets us through like really dark shit. And I think that this year in particular, we need some of that stuff, which is learning to laugh at the dark shit. And that's been a narrative through my whole life, and the thing that keeps me resilient against, like, when I just talk about, I was like, oh, my lung collapsed and that, and I was like, let me tell you about that time. Like all of my main memories are all now just fucking funny stories. All I have is funny stories. All of my trauma has somehow now just been rewired and reframed as a joke, which is that's it's not the healthiest, but it's also it's better than a lamenting or an obsessive trauma response. It's like comedy is a real vehicle to deal with pain and uncomfortable stuff. And I'd like to talk to more people about that kind of stuff. But that just reminded me of that, because it's like, just matter of fact, that one of fucking 15 times I've been in hospital and nearly died, and my lung had collapsed. All I remember is fucking Joey lunging in all of Chandler's clothes. I can't remember. And then there was the other one because they stole the joke from Mr. Bean with the turkey on his head. And I was fucking, but it was just the thing that set me off was the nurse, because she was just like, I was gasping for air. And then, you know what nurses are like, because they've seen everything. They get to a point where, my dad was a psychiatric and aged, at the time they called it geriatric psychiatric nurse. But he, that's a fucking dark job. Death every day, destruction, crazy shit all the time. But his sense of humor got him through. And it's just all the people I know who deal with that dark shit, like medical professionals and nurses and police and and ambos, they're dark, and it's good. Being drawn to the darkness is interesting, and I think that there's something healing in joking and laughing during these times. So I'm glad that I could be a little bit of help for you while you're like things are a bit fucked for you, Diane. But I hope you go okay, and I hope you don't get any. I'm sure it's pretty routine. I know when one of the other things that I did was decided I was going to go to medical school for a while, as you do, because I never figured out what I wanted to do when I grow up. Turned out well, given that this is what I'm doing now. It's gone well. It's gone really well. No, but I wanted to go to medical school, and and one of the things that they is that they just give you appendix, gallbladder, appendix, a gallbladder, appendix, a gallbladder all the time. It's basically like in the web industry or a journalist. It's like, you're going to do hard news. You're just going to write fucking press, it's like routine stuff. And it really gets you sort of in that zone of, because, you know, obviously a lot of things, but that's how safe it is. They give it to students is what I'm saying. Hope that makes you feel better. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that'll have the flip side of you going now worried that they're giving, you know, have a 12-year-old walk in and fucking start cutting you open. I hope not. But you'll be fine. And even if you're not fine, you're always fine in the end till you're not. But most of the time we're fine. You'll be right. What was I going to say? No, but the role of comedy, they're just laughter in just darks. Like I was thinking about this, about my grandma as well. Like she had a hard fucking life. Really hard, like way harder than anything fucking first world thing I moan about. But, you know, at the end of her life, all she talked about was her funny shit. Chased by nuns and stealing apples and fucking, you know, all these stories from the convent that she grew up in. But she was actually fucking Magdalene Laundry, for fuck's sake. You know, her mum died when she was young. There's a lot of tragedy, but, you know, the things that defined her were the funny moments. And again, maybe that's just fucking dissociative quality, but Diane said, I'll ask the surgeon how old he is when he comes to say morning. I'll let you know when I come around. Thank you. Now I don't know if you've seen BoJack Horseman with Vincent. I'm just thinking of like 4 kids in a trench coat in like a surgeon's jacket. That's how my brain works. I'm being a fuckwit. I'm being a fuckwit. Doing mugs and shit. Yeah, no, it's I've had a lot of brush-ins with very dark stuff in life, and that's why I think I'd like to talk to comedians about that. That's my interest, like ridicule. I truly believe that like ridicule and mockery defeat fanatics and fanaticism. I believe that, you know, laughter heals discomfort. Like when you laugh at something that you find uncomfortable, you're a little more amenable to changing your mind. Right? If you laugh, I will be persuaded by anybody who makes me laugh, because I just go, well, comedy has truth in it. So if what you're saying makes me laugh, and even if it's inappropriate, then it means that there's some truth there, usually, because it's an involuntary response to truth. Often, you know, horror, truth, you can't say that stuff. That's the psychological impact of like comedies. You know, it works in the same area as horror and shock and awe and discomfort and, you know, all of those sorts of things. And that's one of those things where, you know, I have a feeling that's why these woke fucks, well, they're just not the antithesis of comedy. You know, you can't, because first of all, fanatics. Second of all, because fanatics can't laugh. And, you know, you'll find people who they'll go, oh, yeah. But, you know, woke comedy is like Christian rock, you know. It's like, yeah, there's a market, but it doesn't mean it's rock. Like Billy Connolly's famous bit with the rock and roll. It's like, it's not for you. Rock and roll is not for you. It's the same thing with comedy. It's like, it's just, you know, Christian comedians. There'll be a market, yes. But will it be as effective as the comedy that's more truthful and more brave? I don't. In the long term, no. There'll be a market, yeah. But you know, but I'd love to talk more about the role of comedy, and maybe get some comedians and that sort of thing and talk about that, because I find that really fascinating. And it, you know, certainly rings true through my life, because as I write more and more comedy, it really and as I finish and work on the book, the thing that has just made me incredibly resilient through all of this, like COVID, all of this stuff that has made other people fall apart in a million and splinter in a million ways, like, is my ability to just fucking laugh at things and how ridiculous everything is, and how, like how is when you're presented with everybody, you look back on old stuff and you go, remember the time when the toilet paper got bought and it was like terrifying? But for me, it's just so fucking ridiculous that that's just how I'm wired. And it was the same thing, like, Bezos and his air dick. It's just like there's a literal dick flying through the air and I'm supposed to keep a straight face. Like, that's awful. But it's fucking hilarious. And that, because that stops you from feeling, I mean, obviously, it's a Band-Aid and it's a salve for the rage that most people would, anyone with a fucking mind or brain who's not a fuckwit, right, would, you get what I'm saying? Anyone with eyes and ears and a brain and a fucking heart thinks that it's a bit fucking ridiculous, right? And that's what it's insane. Like, I just find it all just fucking hilarious. And I think that maybe there's a skill there that I thought everyone had that skill, but it's, less and less, I think. I think fewer people can laugh. I honestly, just in my travels, it's just anecdotal. It's not even, I imagine that if I did a study, it would back me up, which would be that there is a direct correlation between, a very heavy and direct correlation between people's ability to laugh and their overall mental health and their life circumstances. I honestly think that's probably, I mean, yes, we do know that in depression, absence of joy and that is an indicator, but I think that there's a lot more that you can read from it, like as in mindset, as in extremism, fanaticism, all that sort of stuff. And but also that I think that jokes can pull people out of that, and that's what I like to think, that I could maybe pull people out of things by trying to, like, the fuckwit bit. I don't know how good it is. It's going to take this is the thing about making an off the cuff joke versus making something like a bit, which is that it's going to take me 5 years to get this good, to get that bit. It's a good bit. It's got good lines in it. But it's not going to be good, and it's never going to be perfect, and eventually it will be a solid fucking 5-minute bit. But even then, it's never done. It's never perfect. But, this is my stand-up because we just, I don't want to do open mics. Open mics sound to me, yes, I do. I mean, I understand that I have to, like open mics and clubs. If I was in London or LA or somewhere like that, then I would have a different view. But I'm in Perth, Western Australia, where there's a handful of clubs, but they're all run by bros, okay? But also, it's not really my crowd, and it's not. Let's say that if open mics are anything like a business networking event in this town, then it's basically going to be treated like your stage time is an elevator pitch. And I don't know if I'm an elevator pitch kind of person. I never have been. I wasn't in business. I don't know why I should be in comedy. And there's ways to make people laugh without necessarily, yes, the stage time is good because if I get asked to speak, I need to be able to deliver, right? And, I need to be able to perform. I need to be able to fucking record a video without live streaming because, without feeling like an idiot. But there's ways to get stage time without necessarily having to do open mics and shit. But this is mostly my just riffing and stuff. So anyway, I think I'm going to go because I've done a bit of that stuff. I was going to do my intro, but I feel relaxed enough now to go and do that offline. I think that's better. But Diane, I hope you feel better soon. I hope you'll be fine. If they're operating straight away, that means it's probably pretty infected at this point. But I hope that once you'll feel better pretty quickly, I reckon. So be well, please. And everyone else be well. Don't forget there's other illnesses out there, see? And that's why you wear a mask, fuckheads. That's why you get vaccinated, fuckheads. And I'm not saying that I'm not going. Do you know why? Because I have to acknowledge something. This is where, those I've talked about conspiracy theories before and how grains of truth can sort of become earworms and brain worms, okay? I'm afraid of the nanotech. That's where they get me, on the nanotech, the microscopic fucking computer things, because I know that that's a thing. And that's where they go, oh shit. But don't listen. Don't let that, again, I'm not trying to, again, do what you want. I totally believe that it's a choice. But I think that you just got to be a little more centered in this, right? Now that the Pfizer vax has been gotten, again, I'm not questioning power. There's a lot to unpack. I don't know. This is why I don't talk about these things, because I don't know. But I'm going to get vaccinated, and I'm still fucking scared of nanobots and fucking nanotechnology. But at the same time, I also just kind of want to do what gets us back living our lives. And you know, I just don't feel like we can, cause I don't know whether the human race can actually fucking withstand much more of this hyper online stuff. I think people need to get outside, not because they need to work or anything like that. I think people need to get the fuck off and spend less time in isolation because it's making everyone crazy. I think it's a mental health thing. I think people it's, you know, this is the messiness of life, is that sometimes two shitty fucking things, one is slightly less shitty than the other, and that sucks, but I don't know. But I'm going to get the vaccine. I don't talk about that shit because I'm not one of those pricks that does that, but it just came out. But yeah, I do it for other people, which is, you know, it's the least I can do for people who've, you know, had surgery or immunocompromised and that sort of stuff. So it's greater good stuff. And again, if you don't want to do that, then that's cool, but like, you know, each to your own. I'm not going to judge you. I don't care. I just want everybody to be well, and I want everyone to be well mentally as well. And I think that this is unsustainable. Now, I am too online. I'm hyper online. I've spent a large portion of my life online. I'm also obsessed with politics, dedicated 10 years of study to this, okay? I have studied in digital, in tech, and I'm telling you, you're too obsessed with politics, you're too extreme, and and a lot of people are extremely unwell, and they've spent too much time online and too much time thinking about politics. And it's just, I don't, as a professional, I'm saying, like, this is a psychological problem that we've got coming. So look after yourself, laugh, learn to laugh, send me jokes and shit. I like jokes. But yeah, I'm going to go. Love you. Bye. I'm not going to do the sign off because this isn't a formal video. This was just a company keeping thing. But I'm also I'm trying to think about ways that I can stream every day without being tedious. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty fucking tedious anyway. But I thought that I might do a half-hour stream every day where I just open up the newspapers and I just fucking skim the headlines and just tell you what's happened so you don't have to. And I just make jokes about shit because the meat is so bad. It's just so bad now. It's like, let's see if we can find anything that's got any news in it that's worth knowing. I'll wait. Anyway, I'm going to go. I'm still thinking of stuff, but take care, everybody. I love you. Bye. Oh, hang on.